Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are here to cast Kasa Esports and Element Gardens tonight. I'm Simply Nickish, and as always, joining me today is the one and only
Zev.
I should have given you more of a hint that I was
It's
going to
like
do that, but
I'm introducing
um,
myself. Yes, yes. Hi, how are you doing, Nick?
yeah, very well. Thank you. Very well today. We have a banger of a series for you. This is a very, very important series, kind of a must-win here for Kasa, who struggled. We've had a couple of reschedules since then, since we last got to see them play. But this is kind of crunch time to see this new roster start to blend together and show us what they've got more than the Vendetta Zarya kind of combo that we've seen be effective for them.
Absolutely. I mean, they came back from the break, and we saw a really strong first showing with these new members, and that strength really was flexed upon by the Zarya Vendetta combinations that they had. They came in last week, their second game back since the break, and they still performed well, but it was just minor mistakes. There weren't any major mistakes really that they made or struggled with. There were just a couple minor mistakes. You know, one node was a C9 type situation, but they were winning the fight. Like they cleared off the team, but they just chased everybody off to do so without getting control of the point. And they still
Yeah.
performed very well in their last match, but they weren't able to bring in a win from it. So they're definitely going to be looking to come back in now and bring in another win at the start of this year.
Yeah, it was very competitive. I think for all of us that watched that series, it could have gone either way very easily. Uh, I think my slight worry from that series was they felt a little bit pigeonholed in what they showed us. When they were trying to play that front to back with this Sigma front line, they were struggling a little bit. And before we can even give you any predictions or anything, we are rolling straight in here. No, we are not. Sorry, my mistake. So let's talk about the maps while we've got a little bit of time. Sorry, I just got baited by the back end here. So let's
You
talk
should
about
have known. You
maps.
should have known it wasn't right because it wasn't Nepal. It wasn't
Very, very
control.
true.
You know, and that's that's the first thing is every week we learned last time that the control maps that start off game one every time are in fact voted on, but
Mhm.
everybody seems to always unanimously vote for Nepal. So we have not seen Ilios or Busan at any point so far,
No,
at least in the matches that Kasa has been a part of. But those other maps are very much on the table. We did get to see
got some
Suravasa for the first
spicy.
time, which
Yes,
was, a map we hadn't seen any of the teams play so far, that we'd witnessed. And, it wasn't, normally New Junk City is what was the commonly played Flashpoint map, but not that time. And Surf also ended up being a pretty good map for them. That was the map that they had a really strong showing on, but got off the point a couple times that resulted in them losing those exchanges. They still took it to 5 points,
it
but
went all the
they
way.
definitely could have. They definitely could have secured that one down.
Yeah, we got Siravasa. We also got Runa Salpi instead of New Queen Street for the push maps, which we've seen pretty much up until that point. When we do get the push maps, it's always been New Queen Street, and we got to see Runa Salpi as well as that kind of final map. So let's throw it out. Let's ruin ourselves early on. Predictions. Predictions. How do you think this series is going to go? Bearing in mind, for those of you joining, that Element Gardens are on a bit of a, they're at 2-10, I believe, right now. So Kasa are feeling pretty confident about this. So how do you think this series is going to shake out today?
I definitely
Are
think
you on the
that
spot?
I definitely think that Kasa is favored today. I as much as I would like to see a 3-0, the one thing that Kasa has sometimes struggled with is getting a strong start. They sometimes have to make some adjustments in that first round, and they might drop that first game as a
Hmm.
result. But they have had times where they've made those adjustments and they do swing it back in that first round of control. So a 3-0, I do think is possible. Element is in a similar position as Kasa. Both of these teams are looking to get a win. So, I don't think Element is necessarily
Yeah.
going to take this lying down. They very much so, we've made our predictions before and
I
they've
don't think we've got a
gone the
single one
complete
right so
opposite
far.
direction of what we've said. So, it's definitely a tricky
You're gonna go
situation there.
3-1.
I'm
3-1
gonna
is
go
your call.
3-1, 3-1 Casa.
Okay. I like that you bring up the point. I think they do tend to get up to a slow start, Casa. So I'm gonna go 3-2. I think it might take them a bit. They've been away for a little bit. They got to
Well,
they got to warm up a little bit more. So
3-2 means that we're gonna see a hybrid map, which is what we normally do not see.
true,
Hybrid is always
true.
last. If we see that 3-2, we've only seen it one time. Hybrid is never a favor. And sure enough, once again,
Surprise,
we're going to
surprise.
Nepal.
As we are getting into map number 1 here between Element Gardens and Kasa Esports for this FACEIT League matchup. Potential best of 5, so let's see how they look to attack. In terms of rosters today, there is a slight change. Hex is not available to play today, so in support, Manjiro will be playing for Kasa Esports. And as we do hit up Nepal, we're starting to get a little look at maybe some heroes that they're looking at here. Looks like, as long as there are no changes and we don't get baited, it looks like a pretty standard front to back here from Kasa with the Sigma front side. And Seal Noises on the other side is going with a Zarya as their tank option.
We do have one adjustment for Kasa today. We are not going to be seeing Hex tonight, and Manjiro is in for them instead. And like you said, we are looking at that very front to back. We are seeing Proven on the Sojourn once more. And I just, Sojourn is just never going away. Red X down early on here as H-Key takes them out.
Yeah, and just a little heads up, there is still a bug with the spectator view, so the colors aren't always right on this scoreboard. So we will try and keep up with that for you. But a very early team fight win here from Beyond and H-Key on these 2 DPS, running them down and taking this front side. And this is where it gets tricky already to try and get into. As just bear with us a moment. As we get back into the game here. All good, all good. So McChicken now getting the best of HK in that Vendetta matchup, and already we see them default back straight to this Zarya Vendetta to match what Element are bringing to the table, as we see on both sides now. This is something we've seen from Kasa pretty consistently. We've seen how good they are as a duo, Leo and McChicken working together. So let's see if they can pull it off, as they do get the point going in their favor.
Yeah, we really like seeing McChicken on the Vendetta. He plays really aggressively and really makes use of all of the mobility that Vendetta does bring to the table. McChicken low right now, though, needs to be careful. He is going to get eliminated by Bion there. That's Sojourn with the railgun coming through. Zarya's going for an exchange on one another, and it is going to be it's going to be on the backside of it is just Kasa falling back, having to retreat to the pressure that is Element.
Oh, it's just Beyond on this Sojourn. You mentioned at the top, this hero is crazy strong right now and doesn't look like they're going anywhere. We see it very consistently at the highest levels of play for good reason. The mobility, the angles you can get on it, the unexpected damage that railgun provides. And it's a big grab on both sides, actually, simultaneously. And HK gets the better of it with the Vendetta over the top, manages to utilize that in combination with the grab, but it was a pretty much duel exactly the same time. Grabbed on both sides, both teams looking for that same play, and it's just HK that gets that off as needed to get the finishes on those heroes. And oh, this looks tough for Kasa in point number 1 to try and get back in here.
They do have to get on the point, though, and the big difference there is the fact that Vendetta HK did have their ultimate Manjiro and Proven, and we are going to see the ultimate come out by Proven now, picking up a kill on H-Key. McChicken getting low, taken out by Carter. Proven picking up a double there, bringing out Bion, and this is going to be what Kasa needs to get back into it. However, Element did not burn any ultimates in that situation. Their Kiriko and Sojourn both still have their ultimate now. Manjiro with theirs waiting to counter at a moment's notice.
Yeah, but Proven saying anything you can do, I can do better. Just getting these pickoffs, Leo to back up as well. We see Manjiro and Redex both with support ult, so both Kiris are ready to lay down when they need to. Redex with that beast is going to be all important as well, especially if Bion is looking on this Sojourn to pop and go. It is 97%, 69 on the other side. Nice. As we start to move in, I made my own joke there. As they try to move in past this corridor, there goes the Kiri, dropped on the floor. The beast immediately as well. They are not afraid to double drop it. McChicken with the ult, holding on if they want to use it. Bion gets a pick. Leo as well on the other side gets H-Key. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and Bion has popped theirs, so there really isn't much to work with here for Element. They've used pretty much everything, and McChicken has theirs ready to go. So if they want to drop it, they can do to get this advantage. They've already got the one pick off on the Kiri. H-Key does get Manjiro. Leo takes out the Zarya. That is going to be a huge frontside pressure taken out. Proven McChicken getting these all-important picks that they need. It's a bit of a fest on the point, but McChicken comes up clutch, getting those picks, capping the point once again, and it's going to be real tough for any contest. If anyone could even touch here. A quick switch to the Doomfist Tracer. Seal is going to be able to touch. Oh, I thought he just jumped straight off the map there, but goes immediately into the Vendetta ult, who was ready and waiting. The beast is dropped. Can they touch? They do actually touch. They can contest. This actually might be done. Proven though gets the pick. Manjiro. It's a stagger. It's two staggered, and it looks like Kasa are going to come back in fantastic fashion. This is what we wanted to see from them. No early jitters. They get themselves on the board early. First point to Kasa.
Really strong showing by them there on that defensive hold. That was something that they definitely needed to take in a win there. It would have really been unfortunate to lose a close game one in this best of 3 round. That would have been a really unfortunate loss with it being that close, but that was very much so Element's game to lose. They had a lot of control throughout the match, and they had an opportunity pushing on to the point at the end with the support ults, but they weren't able to capitalize. They were, I think, a little bit staggered. You know, they had their tank coming into the point on Doomfist, trying to get that touch, and he was taken out right away before the other members got there, so they just didn't have their whole team there, while Kasa did.
Yeah, and we talk about this all the time, but the importance of ult economy in Overwatch cannot be understated. You know, the way that you use these makes or breaks the game at this kind of level. Everyone at this level is a competent player. So it comes down to your timings, your read on the game as a team and as an individual. And this is what we see. As we see McChicken going a bit crazy there, trying to get the pick, but does get taken out. Proven gets a trade on the other side, picking off Fire Carter, which is a great pick to take out that very annoying, highly mobile Lucio as they look to make their way in off the back of Leo. Just charging in first. Bubbles are ready. Proven with another gigantic pick. These individual picks from the Sojourns are completely making or breaking this game. You know, I did just talk about the ults, but Proven getting, I think that's 3 back-to-back individual picks in different timings to bring them that point and get the percentage going in their favor.
Absolutely, and fortunately we do see Kasa able to take position back onto this point. You know, early on, sometimes in a fight you can afford to lose a member depending on what it is. Usually it's a DPS. You lose the DPS, you're still very much able to get those kills, but you lose the support and you lose the ability to sustain in those trades a lot of the time, unless you do manage to get a pick off. So losing Redex early there was definitely an unfortunate situation, and there we're going to see H-Key take out McChicken. And so we're still going to see Kasa fighting on the point, hanging in there. Like we're seeing, you know, McChicken goes down, and they're still able to take this exchange, but they are going to get pushed back. They're being pushed into the back room on the left side of the map, and Proven's going to pick off H-Key, though, and now it's going to be a little bit of a back and forth. Bion, though, bringing down Manjiro, and it is going to be Leo collapsing as well, the seal noises, and so Kasa is now going to have to back out of this situation.
Yeah, just like very aggressive, honestly. They are so willing to just jump off the point there, Element, take them in that room and keep them pushed back. And it's so much pressure. They do give away quite a lot of percentage for that play, but they push them all the way back. Now we look towards the ults here for this fight. Red X, 5-6% away from theirs. Leo, with that grab, we've seen how good Leo is with that grab, but the counter grab with the Vendetta over the top. Oh, HK with the combo, so ready. And there isn't even time to drop those ults as Seal and HK get it done. And is now going to be up to Kasa. Can you do the same? Leo, McChicken doesn't even have theirs to pull off that combo, so it's going to be unproven. Both support ults, though, ready. So very much a big ult economy advantage, but they have to make it work. They have to get in here. And there they go, the bubble, letting McChicken go in. They are so ready to dive this in full. HK gets Manjiro. That's a huge pick off. The beast gets dropped, keeping everybody up. McChicken just holding on ready. The grab is there. Is it too late? McChicken, Red X unproven. Oh, just getting the pick after pick after pick. And that is just a sheer force of will with how many ults they had available. But it is 98% that they give away to take that team fight.
Yeah, you know, that's a tough one for Kasa. They probably didn't want to have to burn every ultimate there, but they decided that it was necessary in order to get control of that point. They did hold on to their 2 DPS ults, though, so they will have those ready. They are going to be able to contest Element off of the point on any pushes with those
huge pick from Proven,
with the situation being available, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade on both sides there. Faruski, McChicken back and forth, a trade apiece once again, but Seal Noises and HK are going to bring down another 2 members of Kasa.
Yeah, and
HK is going to clean it up.
Crazy. Yep. I think McChicken was kind of looking for an angle, but by the time that they were trying to get in position and ready to use that ult, 3 members had already gone down, and I think this is why we see, you know, this pick like the Sojourn be so effective, because you often just don't get time to react. You know, the burst damage can completely catch you off guard, and though already going down 3 people before McChicken can even try and get into the fight means that they don't even get to use that ult that they were holding on to, and HK takes advantage, and it is a 1-for-1. We are going all the way on Nepal.
That ultimate, though, for McChicken, the tough part there is that not having any other ultimates to serve as a distraction, not having a Zarya ult for a grab well in order to hold people in place, you really do have to get that off-angle flank with it, you know, from the sky, bringing it down, because it is a long charge-up ultimate. It's a very obvious ability as well, so you can't just, you know, pop it willy-nilly out in front of the enemy.
No, absolutely. As we see both teams utilizing these bubble on the DPS. Faruski chases McChicken into that room, quite happy to take them on. Leo gets so low, does eventually go down, so already a good-looking first fight here for Element as they take the early cap.
Very difficult push for Kasa. McChicken saw the opportunity to go for Beyond. Beyond was really low. They were 1 hit away. They tried to jump across the map for them, but instead Beyond did get bubbled and they were able to get protected, and unfortunately McChicken got himself cornered inside that room, and that, you know, put Kasa at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and already HK, no fear, goes in, does go down, but it's a 2-for-1 as Fire picks up Leo as well. That's a huge part of their frontline pressure with the Zarya going down, so they kind of have to back off, reset, and that is more time wasted, more percentage in the favor of Element. This is the last opportunity for this map, so it's all or nothing on this one. No ults to speak of, but if we look at percentages, Manjiro not too far away, Proven as well, not doing too bad, but look at the difference between Leo and Seal. That grab is going to come out so much quicker for Element, and that could be the difference maker. Faruski gets a pick on McChicken early, and there's a lot of the pressure out as the Vendetta is no longer there to dive and pressure those supports. Leo trying to get in, but oh, the damage is overwhelming as Leo goes down as well, and it's just a cleanup crew at this point. All the early fights go in the way of Element, and Kasa needs to change something up here to try and get in.
And the tricky thing here is the fact that because of these consistent wipes out right now, we're looking at Element in a strong position. They have control of the point. They're over 60%, and they are going to be hitting their ults before Kasa does. So Kasa is either going to have to maintain a long possession or a contention until they can get their ultimates, or Element is going to go for a big opportunity to completely wipe them out. And right there, we're going to see Proven manage to get a pick off on H-Key. That was a Zarya ult from Seal Noises on Leo to hold him back, and Kasa is going to try to force their way on the point. Seal Noises takes down Leo, and Bion bringing down one, but Proven's going to fire right back, taking down Carter. Noises brings down Proven. McChicken for Bion. It's 1-for-1, back and forth, but Seal Noises is going to finish off McChicken, and that is going to be Kasa forced back off the point and having to regroup once more.
Oh, Seal on this Zarya is just absolute King Kong on this point. No one can get even close. They're trying to touch. They're getting booped on and off the point, but oh my, H-Key has so much backline pressure, and Seal just cannot be taken out. There's a big grab on point, but they just keep going down one by one. And what a great comeback from Element Gardens to take this map 2-1 after losing that first point. And they are not messing about here. We talked about a slow start for Kasa, and it looks like that's what we got.
Which, it wasn't an entire slow start. Their very first game, they had a really nice showing. They got that win, but from that point on, it's been a little bit difficult. It's, Element were the ones to make their adjustments first, and they had, I think right now, those matches came down to ult economy. I think that Element did a little bit of a better job of managing their ultimates, but also not having any early losses in order for them to be slower on the ult acquisition, and that ultimately is what gave them that advantage in that last round specifically.
Yeah, so as we look to game 2 here, I don't know about you, I'm expecting them to default to a map we've seen this new roster of Kasa be very, very good on. Dorado is what I'm expecting here, and oh, it's so lovely as a caster when you call it, and it happens right then and there. Perfect timing. We are jumping straight into Dorado. And the reason we say this is because we've seen Kasa be very effective with that Zarya Vendetta combo on this map specifically. They have not lost it in 2026, I believe. I think they won both Dorados, if I remember. So this is a very good map for them, and a way for them to build their confidence back in, try and even up the series to 1-1, and then it just becomes a best of 3 at that point.
That's essentially what they need to go for. And, like you're saying, this is a map that they have consistent performance on. It's something that we do see them do very well with. Very common play for teams at the beginning on this map is having the Widow out of spawn, just to, help with the initial pressure. So that is probably what we're going to see here at the beginning before Proven swaps off onto a Sojourn or something, a little more practical for pushing out of the point. But there's some interesting picks here if this is what sticks around to start it off.
Yeah, the Winston, I would very much expect them to stay on, particularly because of this first point. There is a lot of height that you can play off of and that you need to try and hold as elements. So not surprised. The Echo as well to just bully a little bit from that height. We see the Widow just jumping up and peeking, and the switch comes out. The switch comes out as we expect there. Going on to the Cassidy, interestingly. And McChicken on a Reaper. Now, we haven't really seen much Reaper, and I wonder if this is also to do with the height and being able to kind of bully, expecting this Winston maybe, and being able to bully them off this height quite easily.
A Reaper is a pick that I actually really do like to see. Reaper, I quite enjoy myself to play on DPS, although I have been enjoying Freya more recently. Faruski and H-Key bringing up one apiece there. Proven on the Cassidy, which is another one that we don't see too often. We've seen them be on Cassidy occasionally, but usually never sticks to it for very long. The tricky part with the Reaper is that you do have to get in really close, and once you burn that shadow form, it is pretty much you are up for grabs in terms of being eliminated, and that's exactly what happened to McChicken there.
Yeah, and H-Key doing such a great job on this Echo, just being such a nuisance up at not even just playing all high. They are willing to dive into these rooms and take out these heroes as they are struggling to kind of hold it down here. Kasa already burning quite a bit of time just trying to get past this first part as they're trying to take the control on the high ground. But look at the damage. Leo is having to burn so much. Goes down, grabs the health pack, is very aware of that, of where that is, but the win is already there and ready. The hinder was nice, but not enough as Beyond gets the better of Proven on this Cassidy, and they are in struggle town a little bit here. HK with that copy if they need it. The Kyriot for Faruski is there as well, and here goes the copy. Actually copies the Kiri, interestingly, and Faruski is going absolutely bananas with these Kiri kills, using that damage so effectively. And wow, they still have 3 ultimates to hold on to. And here's the problem now for Kasa. You look at your percentage and you think, I don't really want to swap right now, as they are very close to a full 5-stack ult fight on nearly both sides, minus HK. So we're going to see a little bit of a dump here, I think, as everyone gets ready to go. The win is already in their face in the back line, making it so difficult. Trying to go through this side room. The Reaper getting into position, looking for that Death Blossom, has it up now. The beats are dropped, and we start to see the Bob as well. Seal going into the big boy form, trying to take out Proven, does with the help of HK in that tiny room as well. Reaper is trying to find anything here as Fire takes out Manjero's Seal on Leo as well, and oh boy, Kasa, does not look good for them. They are getting run down by Element Gardens right now.
That's the difficult part here with the Winston, is that he is a tank that does not stay in one place for very long and is able to get up and over the walls really quickly and reposition in a very effective manner and protect his backline if he needs to, as well as protecting the front with that bubble. It's a really difficult situation on this map, especially one that has so much high ground that you're able to utilize. But here we're going to see Red X and McChicken picking up 4 across the board for Kasa, and that's going to be their first real, kill pressure exchange onto Element right now in order to get control of this point and move it to that first checkpoint.
Yeah, such an important cap if they can do it. The win is trying to stall it out. Seal just being a pest, but they do get that cap, and that is so key. They needed that confidence fight. McChicken gets that first pick on the Ashe, taking out so much of that damage, followed up by a wonderful grab from Leo once again to finish that fight off. And it's sorely needed. Still, the Death Blossom is available as well, so look towards McChicken here and see if they can find a really good angle for it. And I do like what Element Gardens are doing. I think they recognize this threat, and they are completely spread. They are delta split across this map. They do not want to give this Reaper the opportunity to get a complete team wipe or get multiple members in a Death Blossom. As we see, they're dropping the beats, already kind of taken out a little bit. McChicken still holding on to this ult. They're going to need to use it soon. Manjero does take out the form of HK as they try to copy. McChicken with a good kill on Wu Yang as well. That's going to be huge for them. Proven following up Red X as well. And now we're starting to see the momentum shift completely in Kasa's favor as they're not... And McChicken is still holding this Death Blossom from the first point. Completely refusing to use it, really. Probably could have had another one by now, to be honest. But they are getting the picks they need, so he's not feeling forced to use.
It's a tricky thing for the Reaper because it's so easy for a Reaper ultimate to get no value if you use it at an incorrect time or in an incorrect location. And the tough part there, and right now we're going to see it come out. He is going to manage to pick off the Ashe. Not quite able to finish off the Wu Yang. He goes down to Faruski. Seal Noise is going to take out Red X, and that's going to be a nice little stop for Element in Kasa's initial push. That tricky part is trying to find that opportunity with the Reaper, especially with a tank like Winston, which can just put that bubble down and nullify so much of that initial damage because he can basically just drop it on you if he's anywhere around it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do get the couple of picks needed to back them up. 30 seconds left on the clock. We've got Seal Noises and we've got Bob available. But look at this. Leo goes for the grab, actually manages to catch them on the side with McChicken over the top for the damage. It looked like a crazy grab attempt. Pins them to the side of that billboard. but Seal Noises and Beyond have not done yet. They are going crazy with the big boy Winston. McChicken still gets another pick. HK does trade out, though. Can they keep this stalled out? There's 3 seconds left on the clock. Someone needs to touch here. It looks like it's going to be the job of RedX, but they go down. HK finds them in the backside, and that's going to be all she wrote. What a great hole from Seal Noises to bring that back after what was a great couple of picks from Leo and McChicken. But that big boy Winston was ready and waiting.
I think that's the first time that we've seen Kasa not make it to that second checkpoint on Dorado, but that, you know, they got it a good distance. It was pretty much right there at that second checkpoint, going into that final stretch of the map. But all they really have to do is stop them up to this point, which is going to be a difficult thing depending on what type of composition we see come out of Element. I do think that they're going to be changing it up. I don't think they quite stick with that same lineup on offense, but if they do, it'll be interesting to see them be more aggressive with it.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Seal stay on that Winston, especially for this kind of first attack point. I think it does work really well for particularly, you know, people like Proven on this Ash is going to want to post up on this high ground and try and just, you know, lay down that suppressing damage. And the Winston can just get in their face and make it so difficult. I think this is kind of on McChicken here. If you're going to stick to this Reaper, which it looks like they are, I think it's on McChicken to try and follow this Reaper, follow this Winston around and make it much more difficult. But obviously Winston has a lot more mobility consistently than this Reaper can provide.
Yeah, that's the tough part for Reaper, is not being able to use that mobility super frequently, as well as their defensive. But Proven with a nice quick double flick onto Faruski, taking him out of the equation early on here. And it is going to be a quick stop for one of the supports on Element. And very aggressively, we see McChicken going in, quickly bailing out, following behind, looking for opportunities. Almost had a nice pickoff inside the house, but they ran away, waiting to regroup.
Yeah, I think one thing we haven't touched on yet is just how annoying this Wu Yang knockback is on this auto attack. It's being very disruptive, just knocking people out of their sight lines, knocking people out of the position when they're posted up on this high ground. And it's just additive on top of all the other disruption, making it really difficult for Kasa to kind of stand and defend.
Yeah, we're going to see them come up around the first real corner of the map. This is where Kasa got held up for a little bit. So this is a tough choke point, but that is the advantage of Winston, like you were talking about. Leo taking down Faruski here, and it is going to be another one down for Element, and they're going to have to regroup. Low HP members. HK takes out Leo. Oh. So that is the tank down for Kasa, and we've got McChicken in retreat at this time. Red X going down as well. So now you're down support and tank, and this is going to be a very quick, aggressive push in by Element. And here they are. Winston jumping in, quickly pursuing, trying to cut off McChicken, run him down. He gets bubbled, and now Seal Noises has to be careful and back out, but they are going to get that exchange with Faruski there to support him. And so that's going to be 2 down for Manjiro and McChicken, and that is going to be first point for Element.
Seal Noises is a monster on this Winston. I certainly would not want to be playing into this right now. They are on fire in their positioning, the way that they're getting these very quick kills, bouncing from one to another. You never know if they're going to get ready, but here we go. Probably looking for a Blossom here on the backside. They did get bubbled. Didn't quite want to pop it, understandably. Everyone kind of backed off. And they are doing a very good job of in and out here, Element. Red X gets a pick on Beyond. It's a 1-for-1 with that Bob dropped as well. And here goes the win. Gets the pick on Leo. Seal again getting it done. Leo is having such a hard time on the Zarya, staying alive. Here goes Big Boy, ready to go all the way in the back. Look at how far back the pressure is from Seal here. They're not even close to the point. And if they can't get in here, they can't even contest. There's 4 ultimates available. Fire, Seal, Faruski, HK, all with theirs. McChicken, Proven, and Red X need to pop theirs to get in. And they might just have to use it preemptively just to even touch, because look at the space that they have. And here goes Seal in the top side, finds Manjiro in that corridor, immediately picks them off, looks for the Lucio, forces out the beats already from Red X very defensively, and he's just being such a nuisance. They're having a hold for him. You can see Leo, and here goes the... Oh, I thought that had to be the Pop Blossom, right? I thought that that had to be it with the bubble over the top, but he chooses to hold it, and I don't know if that's going to be what you want to do, because it looks like the team fight might already be over. H-Key gets the pick on Red X. Everyone's going down, and they might regret not using that McChicken, and it's done. Deal. And once again, McChicken holding on to these ults, I think, far too long, not willing to drop it, trying to find that perfect ult timing, and is getting punished for it.
It's definitely been hurting them a little bit. That is one of the tough parts with Reapers, because you just don't want to go for a no value ulti, especially because it can leave you so vulnerable with the way his ultimate is. But really, that match was very heavily put on the back of Seal Noises. That Winston was an absolute terror in that round. You know, specifically at the end there, he recognized having jumped on Manjiro in the back line, got Manjiro low, Manjiro teleported out, blinked away, and he immediately popped ult, went outside, jumped up to the ledge outside, predicting where Manjiro was going to be going after getting the health pack in the room and going to take the high ground, and then just one-bopped Manjiro out of that equation. So, I mean, that was just a really great knowledge read by Seal Noises at the end there, and that helped them keep pressure off the point, taking out, once again, another support for Kasa.
Yeah, and as we look towards game 3 here, I mean, that was kind of their ace in the hole on Dorado, that we've seen them be so strong on that map. So if you're Kasa here, I mean, what do you look to? You know, you've just got, I mean, spanked, you know, for want of a better word, on a map that you feel very confident on. So what do you think they're going to turn to here? New Queen Street, we've seen them do a lot of New Junk City. It's got to be one of those, right? We've not seen a hybrid really ever. So do you think they might throw a curveball, give us a little Runa Sappy, or stick to what they know?
Well, I mean, you know, last week we saw Runa Sappy and Suravasa, so either one is on the table. The real curveball here would be if we saw a hybrid map, but
I'd love a King's Row.
Know, that
I'd love
that
a
would
King's
be
Row. I would.
something tricky. I think the tricky part with these hybrid maps, the ones that are shown, is that first point is just, it is always a forced choke point with not really highly accessible or ideal alternative points of entry to try to make a push in. It kind of splits it up a little bit if you do want to try to go another way. And so it's, you know, it's a very tough choice with hybrid maps, and I think that's why teams typically avoid them, as well as it being you know, not a consistent play mode, because it's, you know, at the beginning it's a control point that you're trying to, you know, get in capture, and then it turns into you know, an escort, and so it's just a little bit different from what the other maps are.
I do think, though, you know, some of these chokes, you know, let's say something like King's Row, where it is very difficult to get into that first point, as you mentioned. Obviously, it opens the door for some much more interesting and unexpected picks. So, you know, you can start to look at, on the defensive side, things like the May to try and really defensively hold. We've seen Torbjorn as well be really effective on that map. And then on the attack side, it opens the door for maybe some more dive tanks. You know, if you want to try and match the Winston, if you're feeling comfortable on that, something like a Diva to try and get past that front side. Something like a Tracer, you know, these dive heroes. The Vendetta even is really good for kind of getting around that. The only question is, can you get the backup support so you don't just dive into 6 people or 5 people and die immediately? So I'm going to be very interested to see which they pick. I would kind of love a curveball here for Kasa. I think they are very much on the ropes right now. They've the first game was close. The second game I didn't look very close to me. I think that was a pretty handed victory for Element. So comfort, maybe, but I think you want to throw a curveball in the mix and say, hey, it's now or never. This is kind of a must-win series for Kasa as well, with where they're sitting in the table. If they want to look to progress forward in FACEIT, they're near the bottom with Element here. They really need a win. If you're going to throw a secret strat, you've got a secret pocket pick, now is the time.
And it is. There it is. We are going to see a curveball, as we are going to see a King's Row thrown out. So we are going to get that hybrid map. The only time we've seen a hybrid map with Kasa has been when it went to a game 5 that was early on in last year of the FACEIT League in December. And now we are seeing it as a mid-series map with game 3. This is do or die for this matchup for Kasa, bringing in the King's Row. So this is going to be an interesting thing to see, because it's not something that we've gotten to see just yet.
Let me tell you, as a caster, there is nothing more enjoyable than when you throw out a random curveball and they do exactly what you were just talking about. It's wonderful. I love that they've chosen this. Personally, I think this is the right call for them. I think throwing out... Obviously, King's Row is an old classic. People know how to play this map, right? This isn't a brand new map that no one's ever played before, right? This is probably one of the most classic maps that people associate with Overwatch. And have done for quite some time. So they do know how to play this. But if you've not played it for a while, if this is something that maybe they've been pocket practicing a little bit, just in case for a situation like this, this could be what they need to get the momentum back in their favor. So I love this choice.
You know, I don't even know necessarily that it's a pocket practice. I think that this may be just, you know, in the case that a game ever did go to a game 5, you know, a match does go to a game 5, they have to have a hybrid map that they want to pick. And this could be the one. And right now we're going to see Proven get that pick off on H-Key on the Widow at the spawn. And they're going to swap over to their actual DPS now on that Mei. And this is going to be the opportunity to push in for Kasa, as there is a DPS down for Element in this initial push, and that is exactly what's going to happen. They're going to try to move in onto the point right now, taking positioning around the backside of the statue. The Mei wall utility coming in. It's a very aggressive play. This is a very aggressive comp for Kasa right now with the Brigitte as well. Redex, though, is going to go down. Faruski and Seal Noises picking up one apiece each, and now Kasa is on the back foot, regrouping, and they are going to have to reassess what they push out with.
Pretty unbelievable hold, to be honest. The fact that they were one down, the Echo went down, and they still managed to just hold on long enough against what is a very surprisingly front-to-back comp here from Kasa, you know, running this very heavy control with the Brig and the Mei, trying to just take and hold this space, and they get shut down pretty handedly by Element on that first push, as we see them poking and prodding once again. Both teams running this Sigma. We know how strong Sigma is right now. Trying to build up those ults. Seal, though, again, look at the differential. Seal nearly with their Sigma ult. Fire nearly got theirs. Does have it now, actually. But Leo only sitting on that 69%. Really struggling to build up those ults at the same pace. As we see the Wu Yang pops and goes in. H-Key gets the pick on Machicken. It's traded out. Proven gets beyond. That's a lot of damage taken out by taking out that Sojourn. H-Key over the top, though, looking for that copy. The Juno is down from Manjiro to keep them pushing onto this point, keep them moving, and keep them taking control. The Blizzard is out as well. They do manage to get Seal, but already had that shield up ready. There goes the Sigma up and down. Doesn't get any kills, though. Sorry, does get H-Key in their form. But Redex off the back of it gets Fire Carter, and this is what they're going to need to get this first point already and push them forward. They've already got it. This is just for fight, really. The point is already gone, and Leo, just for bragging rights, gets the cleanup kills and gets that first point. 4 minutes on the clock.
Really great show by Kasa. Really aggressive play. It all started with you know, I feel Leo, Seal Noises did have the advantage initially in the ult charge, but we saw Leo making really aggressive plays on the, on with their tank and getting behind the shield and stunning them out and preventing Seal Noises from being able to do too much.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see them just fire through immediately. Firecarter does get McChicken, though. That's one down already, and it might be a quick retreat as Beyond takes out Manjiro as well. So I think on the side of Kasa, you need to just minimize losses. Don't get too staggered. And as I say that, Beyond pushing forward, so aggro. And it's a very clean wipe from Element to push them back and burn off a lot of time.
Yeah, the Sigma with that buff is just such an actual good tank now. Having a versatile shield, being able to place a shield in multiple different ways at multiple elevations, you know, however you like. It allows for better positioning as a tank that is ranged as well. And there we see Leo getting aggressive, them pushing past the Sigma shield and trying to get that stun, which is what he did for taking control of that first point. But there is just so much damage coming out right now from Element, and we are going to see Firecarter bring down Red X, and so that's going to be a support down for Kasa, and they're going to be slowly pushed back through this choke again. HK taking down Proven, and here we are once again, Kasa having to regroup from the pressure that is Element.
Honestly, I think we are not giving enough credit here to Firecarter on this Wu Yang. These balls making their way through these random little corridor spaces is adding up to so much extra damage and pick-off potential. As Seal Noises tries to go for it, doesn't get any value really off that Sigma roll. As we see, Leo does get the trade out, punches Seal in the face. May Beyond does get them eventually, so it is a one-for-one trade. HK over the top gets Manjiro, so that's one of the big supports down. Drops down behind, finishes off Red X as well. HK is putting on a clinic on this Echo, making it so difficult for them to push in. And the time has suddenly gone from a very handed 4 minutes to suddenly we're down to just close to a minute to try and get maybe one more really solid team fight in here. Now, they do have a lot of tools to work with. Leo's got that gravity. McChicken not too far away from the railgun, Proven with that Blizzard. It's a 3-for-1 stacking right now on ults, and they are gonna need to use them and use them effectively. But look at what Firecarter is doing around that corridor, just firing it round, sneaking that site as Redix gets a big pick on Beyond. That's a lot of the damage gone. As they start to move in off the back of it, Leo getting very aggressive. The May wall to block off, try and stun him down, and it's wonderfully done there. The Blizzard was not even really needed, but you never know in that scenario. And we are seeing Leo and Proven work really, really well together on this Sigma May, blocking off Seal Noises, making them turn around. The shield's gone, slamming them in the face with that stun and getting the finish. And this is what May, as a tank player myself, May is the most annoying hero to play into for that reason. The isolation that these walls can provide is so devastating.
Yeah, as soon as you start to show pressure and make the other team back off, you get a nicely placed May wall and separate the tank. And those few moments that the wall is there, you know, the tank with their back up against it, it throws off their perspective. It throws off any sort of support that they have. Ion railgunning down McChicken there. And it is going to be Element here with a quick double for Bion, one pickup for Seal Noises, and they are going to be looking to push Kasa off the point entirely for Ruski, bringing down Proven. So almost a team kill, but not quite there. Kasa regrouping once more. And, you know, back on that previous fight, that was a really aggressive play that we were talking about from Leo on the Sigma, you know, with the assistance of their May, pushing up, going past the shielding, even behind the May wall a little bit to take the angle and stunning, you know, Seal Noises. And that was just a really great showing. Redix and McChicken getting very aggressive there, taking one apiece. HK, though, taking down McChicken. And we're seeing McChicken on a character that we haven't seen them on yet. We're seeing them on that Sojourn. You know, very powerful hero here. And it's going to be a really tough time right now for them to come in. Here's the ultimate being dropped by Seal Noises. Takes out Proven. And so once more, we are on a DPS down for Kasa, but they do have opportunities presented for them. McChicken taking down Firecarter. He is already holding on to that ultimate still, and here we are, McChicken with the ult once again, not using it. We're on the final push here. He's can pop that ultimate at any
Huge
moment.
picks. Yeah, massive picks at the end of that fight. I mean, credit to Seal. They did such a good job of staying alive. The Mei dropping that Blizzard. And, you know, I like that you pointed out McChicken is on this Soja. And traditionally, we see that piloted by Proven. But here we go. The Diva instantly goes down. They are just mega dumping. They do not care. Everything is going. Red X is putting in work on this Brig. This Brig, for me, is kind of the standout, really, for that one. They did so much fantastic work to help Leo on this front side, put in so much damage and healing at the same time. This is what we know Briggs for, and they get it all the way despite looking a little bit shaky in the beginning, and that's going to feel really good for Kasa. The question is, how does it look on the defense? Can they hold? Do or die?
Defense has been a little bit of a difficult point for Kasa today. However, that was some very good momentum for them, and once they got that momentum, they really capitalized on it, and they had a very smooth push through that final point. You know, there was just an initial stop by Element, but as soon as Kasa regrouped, they essentially pushed it the entire way to the very end. And so that was that momentum, that was that aggressive play that we like to see out of Kasa. And so now they're going to have to play defense, and it's going to be a little bit of we're seeing Mei again, which I like the Mei pick into a situation like this because those walls just bring such good utility.
All eyes on Proven here for me. I think this Mei is going to be the difference maker, particularly on the defense. We saw how good they were, you know, Proven and Leo were working together to isolate Seal on this front side. Seal's had a hell of a series already, and I think the Mei is going to be what makes or breaks this for Kasa. So can Proven prove themselves in this final ditch attempt to keep themselves alive in this series? It's all or nothing for this last defense, as we see them just getting picked off. And oh, I cast the curse them so badly. H-Key already getting proven. McChicken does get a trade on Firecarder. We talked about how good that Wu Yang's been performing. Beyond, though, gets the trade on McChicken, so it is 2 down already. And this might just be a phenomenally early take for Element. Concerning for Kasa here.
I'm not really sure what was going on with it. Leo does get a pick off on H-Key there, but Kasa gave up that initial choke point very quickly, and you know, Element took no hesitation in pushing around the corner, getting positioning themselves, and just going really aggressive off the rip. You know, Seal Noise is trying to get a prediction stun there. Beyond going to take down McChicken, but Proven firing back, taking out Firecarder, but Beyond with a double, taking out Red X now, and it is just Beyond having a time with those railguns. Just really great accuracy by Beyond, strong DPS showing, and it is Kasa fighting for this point, trying to hang on. Faruski going to bring down Proven. Seal Noise is taking down Leo, and that is going to be a bit of a washout for Kasa.
Oh, I mean, credit to Leo, though. They stayed alive so long. They had no right to stall that point out. Proven does try to hold with the Mei walls, lets Leo play around it, and they do stall out, but oh, we've got another 4 minutes 30 on the clock. Can Kasa do the same that they get held on this corner? It is a big ask. Multiple team fight wins. There's 3 ultimates ready here for Element as we see them pushing in. The wall, the fake wall from the Echo is up, actually. Does a really nice job of isolating Leo, who then gets taken out. Proven does take out that Echo copy, but they're still going to be up and fighting the Blizzard. Is it going to catch Beyond? It does. They do go down as well. That's a big pick. McChicken off the back of it gets Seal as well. That's really nice from Proven. Might be able to hold, but H-Key is being so annoying on this Echo, always applying this pressure, and you don't know where from. But they do stall out a little bit, but there's 3 ults still here, and the cart is still pushing forward.
Well, that cart's still just pushing forward because they had such an aggressive positioning. They pushed up so far past the cart that even with getting, you know, wiped out a little bit, a couple members eliminated, they're essentially falling back to the cart rather than, you know, regrouping and pushing back up to it. And very aggressive trades coming out right now. The ultimate out by Faruski, and we are going to see Steel Noises take down Proven. McChicken takes out Faruski, one apiece on each side. Beyond, Manjiro exchanging. McChicken back on H-Key with the railgun, and it is going to be back and forth between these two teams. Leo getting really low right now. McChicken's going to take down Fire Carter. McChicken exchanges down with Beyond. Steel Noises takes out Leo. Red X to take out Beyond. It is just back and forth, one after another. Red X in a 1v1 right now with Steel Noises, trying to stay alive and stall in the point. Not let them take this point, and they are going to get there. Proven is going to get there to support him just in time. Red X hanging on with that Brigitte, not letting them get that point.
Unbelievable dancing shoes from Red X on that Brigitte. Manages to work around the stun, which would have surely been their death. Wins that 1v1 and clearly is feeling confident on this Brig. Comes off the Wu Yang, not really working for them. And they go, hey, the Brig worked in the first round. Let's run it back. 2 minutes taken off the time. And this is what we need to see from Kasa, because as we cannot say this enough, this is do or die for Kasa right now. Leo with the isolation once again with the May wall. This combination proving to work for them, as Proven does drop the wall, gets that first pick, and they continue to get the picks off the back of it, holding once again with a great team fight. Manjiro building up that ult on the Juno as well, does nearly get that echo, forcing out the copy from HK, which in and of itself is a good usage. Looking for the Brig there, but does go down. Proven takes them out before they can get any effectiveness from that. The Juno ult is dropped, keeps them pushing forward, and look, they are going to get aggro off the back of this. Hold this corner. 1 minute 34. Keep your eyes on this timer. Do not call your chickens yet before they've hatched. I kind of botched that catchphrase, but I think you all know which one I meant. As McChicken once again getting an early pick. They are stepping up. Oh, clips Beyond as well with the disruptor. Manages to get 2. Leo picking off the back of it as well. And McChicken is coming in so clutch in these final moments of this map number 3.
And they're absolutely not counting their chickens early, as they are holding this angle, taking an aggressive stance. This is what they need to do, killing as much time as possible. They need to avoid any sort of pick-off, so far from the payload. Hold these angles, work their way back to the payload. They've managed to push it back a good bit. Remember, this payload was all the way basically to the endpoint, and they've managed to move it back a good portion. But a wipeout team kill from Element would be all they would need to move it the remainder of the duration before Kasa can even get back to regroup. Faruski down, McChicken right away, picking him out. H-Key quickly dropped as well by Proven. It is going to be 1-4, back and forth. Fire Carter takes down Proven with another. Beyond bringing down McChicken. It is back and forth for both teams once again, but hold on. Fire Carter brings down Proven, and it is just Leo holding on this point by himself. He might have to give it up, but they managed to burn down so much of the clock, and he's just going to try to hang in there before and let his team regroup.
You've got to fight this, and they do. They come back in. McChicken with a huge pickoff on Beyond. This might be enough. Can they keep pushing it forward? They're dancing around HK, trying to get around the side, trying to be a pest. They need to hold this point. It's overtime. If they can stall it out here, it gets them the win. McChicken goes crazy in this last fight. Once again, getting the picks that they need on this Sojourn. Red X cleans house, and oh my goodness, Kasa have kept themselves in this game unbelievably at the last second. McChicken take a bow.
And they threw the curveball, and they got the strength they needed to get their game win in this series, to get them back on the board and to extend this series out, going to a game 4. Incredible final point hold by Kasa. Leo almost had to surrender the point, but, was able to recognize how far back his team was, pushed up, held control of the point, and McChicken came in and just absolutely cleaned up house. But let's not forget, this all started with Red X on the Brigitte, 1v1ing the Sigma for the point, stalling it out in time for Proven to get there for the assist, and that is where it all began for them to turn things around in this match.
Man, give us Kings Row. We asked for it. They delivered with a phenomenal Kings Row game to clutch this out and keep themselves in it. So now It is 2-1. They're still on the back foot. They still need one more to level it up and take us to a game 5. They've got 2 choices. What do we think? Obviously, Element get to choose this one because they lost that game. Do we think they're going to go for the push map? Do we think they're going to go for a flashpoint? These are the 2 options that are left for them. We have got ourselves a series.
I think that it is very possible that we see them go for a push map. No idea between Queen Street or Runasapi. It could go either one, but I think overall they are confident in push map type situations. While the hybrid does have a little bit of a push element to it, you know, they weren't necessarily not able to push the payload. You know, they got stalled out at the end, but they had a really good initial push on it. But they did a very good job on escort, which is a little bit closer to how push is. It's just, you know, it's an escort that is contested back and forth. So a little bit different, and we are going to see the push map. It is going to be Runasapi.
Runasapi. Lots of elevation on this map. Lots of flank angles. Sojourn's absolute playground on this map. Would not be surprised to, honestly, they might let McChicken just pilot that Sojourn again because they were putting numbers in that last game. Or they may default back to this Vendetta Zarya combo we've seen them do so well on. Seal Noise is having a bit more of a difficult game there on the Sigma for map number 3. But a big shout out, I think, to the people that we need to talk about here on Element Gardens. Firecutter, we talked a little bit about their Wu Yang, just so staple in getting this extra little bit of damage and knockback while healing through. And H-Key is playing out of their mind this series. So one to watch for me.
HK has been doing very well. We are seeing a little bit of a change up. HK is back on the Vendetta, and so far that has been what they've had the best performance on. Now we are seeing Beyond off of the Sojourn. Right now, neither team is showing a Sojourn. Very rare occurrence for there to not be a Sojourn in a game. Proven is on that Cassidy. Red X maintaining that Brigitte, but we are seeing Beyond onto the Freya. You know, I'm a personal fan of Freya. I really like the character. They recently gave back some damage to that impact of the aim down bolt, and so could be a bit of an interesting time with that Freya.
I think it just creates, you know, between the Vendetta and the Freya, the 2 DPS, it creates 2 very different, difficult points to have to try and deal with simultaneously. You've got this very heavy dive with the Vendetta bubble, getting into your backline, so you need some anti-dive tools to try and manage. And then you've just got this very great poke damage from the Freya. So it's 2 very different things that you have to try and mitigate together. As we see HK already Proven tries to use that Cassidy to get onto the Freya, take them out, and then HK just comes in and gets the finish. And this is what I mean. Is there a pick that Kasa can find to deal with both issues? So some smart drafting, I think, here from Element Garden.
Definitely some smart drafting. I think this combination does work out very well because, you know, if Beyond gets even one aim down bolt onto somebody in the back line, HK can quickly follow that up and eliminate that target. I think overall, though, that exchange was a lot closer than maybe what it showed. You know, there was just a couple missed shots by Proven on that Cassidy, and that would have taken out Faruski from the fight early on. But right now, McChicken taking out Faruski, but HK is going to exchange and take out Red X. And so Kasa, a little bit in the exchange. McChicken onto Firecarter, getting another kill pickup. And it is going to be some of the pressure put back onto Element as they are now going to look to regroup. And Kasa moves the payload back into the middle.
Yeah, I actually really like this swap from McChicken, to be honest, going on to this Echo. You have so much room to play around with on this map. Between these little side rooms that you can get the burst damage down, there's so much height for you to play around as well. There's so much opportunity to get these pickoffs for McChicken. So I actually like this a lot while trying to stay out of the range of the Vendetta as much as you can. and being able to pressure this Freya quite happily as H-Key goes on to Proven. As Cassidy is having a bit of a rough one to start this game off. As McChicken does swap out, goes to that Vendetta. We know how effective they are on it. Willing to pilot, takes out H-Key with that copied Vendetta. Up and over the top they go. And look at the target priority. McChicken knows exactly who they want. Diving up and over the top, immediately takes out Faruski. A lot of that healing pressure dealt with. As Seal now, can they hold on to the Zarya in the front side? Proven does have a Deadeye. Desperately trying to keep Leo up on this Sigma, but it looks like they're going to go down. There's just too much damage. And the distance keeps pushing forward.
A really aggressive showing. You know, like we said with the Chicken, we don't get to see them play Echo too much. They're usually playing very aggressive characters. Sojourn was the first time we really saw them on a more backline type of DPS, which even then they played very aggressively. So being here on the Echo is definitely a little bit of a different situation for them, but it seems to be something that they are definitely comfortable on and are not having any issues performing with by any means whatsoever. So real quick, Leo taking out H-Key there, Proven, taking out Beyond, gets him with the ultimate, and that is going to be a quick 2-kill pickup for Kasa, looking to push in, but running it down. Seal Noises wasn't a fan of what Red X did last game, and it took him for that 1v1. McChicken eliminating Seal, though, and that is going to be a little bit of a cleanup there for Kasa. It was a very aggressive play by Seal Noises. Felt a little personal. You know, they just completely beelined it for Red X in the back line and just focused on lasering him down. Didn't care about what else was going on in the fight, but you know, nice turnaround there for Kasa as they're going to look to move this payload up and get some progression.
Yeah, make it a little bit closer. As you see, H-Key drops that ult, immediately takes out Red X. Manjiro gets the trade. Beyond gets the extra trade. It's a 2-for-1 right now. Manjiro taken out in the air, and H-Key is going just bananas on this Vendetta for this fight. So they do get it a little bit closer, but this is all H-Key all day long. And I don't know if I like this Cassidy pick for Proven at the moment. It feels like it's not getting the job done for them. As most ultimates are used, Faruski does have that Juno orbital ready to go. McChicken with that Echo copy as well. Interested to see who they feel like they want to copy. Likely to see the Vendetta again. We know how proficient McChicken is on that pick. Really enjoys it. But it feels like there's just a lot of mobility happening. There's a lot of mini fights everywhere. Red X sends H-Key off the map as Faruski trades it out for Leo. That's a lot of the damage, a lot of the front side tanking gone with Leo out of the picture, so they can kind of just run them down. And this is what we see. Beyond takes out Proven in the backside, and they're getting picked apart with this very mobile comp here from Element Garden.
You know, I'm going to have to agree about the Cassidy. As great as a Cassidy is, in this situation right now, the things that they're facing is a lot of high pressure from very mobile champions, and H-Key getting knocked up, brought back down. Proven is going to finish off H-Key with the assistance of Red X and Leo. Proven on to Beyond, getting that one by themselves. Proven with a third on Seal Noises. McChicken is going to bring it down, and Proven's going to pick up a 4-piece on that as we were just talking about it.
Proven's listening.
You know, took a moment for Proven to get a little locked in on that, but in general, we'll see how it plays out on this next phase. That, you know, that was a really great series for him on that. Just needs to hit those headshots, and that is where the Cassidy pressure comes from, is getting those headshots. The difficult part, though, here he's going to look to get his ultimate, but he doesn't have an angle on it, so
zoning.
No value out of it other than the zoning, as the payload is going to be moving back around, and they're going to push it up just a little bit further, you know, but fully zoned use ult there for Proven. The tricky part for this is they managed to get it to that checkpoint, is the pressure that is able to come out from Element is Cassidy doesn't have any way to really deal with that. Proven does pick off H-Key, but Carter and Beyond are going to bring down another one each. Beyond with a quick double, taking Proven out very quickly there. Fire Carter onto Red X, and just like that, it is turned right back around. But right there is a great example of that. The pressure gets put on, and Proven is basically just a sitting duck, doesn't have anywhere to go, doesn't have a way to get out, doesn't have a way to really reposition.
Yeah, there's so much burst damage as well. We see this Freya doing a lot of work to just find these angles, but Proven comes back, gets a double with Leo off the back of it. And when Proven, oh, that was disgusting. When they're untouched and they're left alone to do this damage, they are getting a lot of damage down, a lot of pickoffs. And I think this is on Beyond, and we see the switch here off the Freya onto the Sojourn to try and deal with Proven, I think, as they are proving to be a problem. I'm never going to get tired of that joke. Faruski not too far away from an ult, but look at the economy for Kasa. They have 3 ultimates to work with, as we see McChicken with very fancy feet, getting up in the air to avoid that Vendetta. Leo not too far away. Red X McChicken, all with theirs Proven, dropping that Deadeye again. Does he have anyone in sight? It was so close. Takes out 2, switching to the right-hand side. Gets Faruski as well with the triple. And I am so sorry, Proven, for ever doubting you, because as soon as we questioned it, you have gone non-stop in back-to-back team fights. So I don't know if you're listening, but my word, have they just stepped it up when it matters.
And that fight was the most important fight of the match so far, as that has allowed Kasa to take the lead in the progression of the push point. So now it is on, the pressure is on for Element to move the payload all the way back to the other side and move it far enough to get you know, that last bit of distance to take the lead, but they have less than a minute to do so. Proven getting a kill on Firecarter, but HK getting one. Leo firing right back. Faruski exchanging with McChicken. McChicken exchanging Faruski. It's back and forth, one apiece. HK onto Proven, and it is just a back and forth kill fiesta for both of these teams right now, but it is going to go to Element in that exchange, but not without Element losing most of their team. So Kasa is going to have an opportunity here to regroup and push onto the point before all of Element can get back together.
Yeah, some great pickups, but like H-Key has just been left untouched, really. And when there's Vendetta, you know, all of the resources are dealt with. Firecarter goes down to a wonderful pick. It's a good grab. Everyone's caught in it. It might be enough. Beyond does get Proven. That's a big target taken out. Leo is so low. The Juno reload, it's keeping them up. Beyond does get McChicken as well. Popping that railgun. The damage is coming in force. Swings around to get Leo, and H-Key takes out as well. And look at the overtime. It's so close. They might have enough time to push this over the 108. And someone needs to get in here and get in here quick, because this is going to be really close. Manjiro is the only one with an ultimate. It's 98, 99. Here we go. The touch is happening. Proven is there already. Gets taken out, but is touching and keeping it down. McChicken goes down to Beyond. It's a very early pick. The grab is there, though. Is this enough? Leo doesn't get the kill. They're kept alive. The Juno is putting in work. Manjiro gets Firecarter eventually. Manjiro with a double on that Juno. It might be enough. Leo is so low. Can they finish these off? He's staying alive. The Juno is putting in so much work, but it's overtime. Beyond gets Red X. Can you do this? The shield is out. Leo is fighting. 1v1. They get the better of Seal, and that might be enough. Oh my word, Kasa, have you clutched this in the last second? Manjiro, you absolute hero, saving this for Kasa Esports. And baby, we're going all the way. Game 5 in a close series. Woo! What a game, all the way to the end.
That situation was actually a ideal scenario for Kasa in the sense of where that final fight took place, because with being able to stall it out right there, Kasa's actually in a position where even if they lose a player in the fight, if the fight goes on long enough, that person is going to be able to come back from spawn. Their spawn is right there. That is the final corner before their spawn. And so they actually are in a position to maintain a numbers advantage in a drawn out fight. So realistically, you know, Element needed to get some decisive kills there and get the pressure and really just push Kasa off the point entirely. But, you know, Kasa did a great job holding on. And I have to agree, that final push really came down to Manjiro holding it out on that Juno. That is
Leo
what kept them alive.
Like I would argue less than 50 HP at one point, Leo, as they were trying to back out. We saw them both critical. Juno flies up in the air, keeps them alive long enough for Brig to make it back in, for Red X to make it back in, keep them going, and then Leo could take that 1v1 fight into the Zarya, get that win, and oh my word, that could not have been closer if they tried. What a phenomenal game 4, and hey, we get to go all the way. We get to map 5. We didn't know if they would have it in them to come back after a really difficult first couple of maps for Kasa. We knew it was going to be a slow start. My prediction is looking good as we go to game number 5, Flashpoint. What do you think? New Drink City or Suravasa? What do you think we're going to get here?
You know, before the break, New Junk City would have been the map that I would have gone with. Since coming back, we've seen them go with Suravasa. They did do very well on Suravasa last time, so you know, I think it would be interesting to see them go back to Suravasa. I think it is a map that they can do well on. However, you know, it's not up to them because
very true.
It's going to be depending on what Element likes, and I don't know which one they're going to go with, but we're going to find out here, and it is going to be sent back to Suravasa.
All right, Suravasa for the final game of this must-win series for both teams realistically. And boy, are they giving us a series to end on. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Let's see what they choose to pick up here as we get into this final game. Any curveballs you think we're going to get? I would expect Red X to stick on this Brig.
You know, Red X being on the Brig would be really great to see. It seemed to work out very well for them, and it complements the aggressive nature that their members like to have. And right now, they're going to keep with it. Manjaro on that Juno. But for the first time since joining, we are going to see Leo on the Ramatra.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We might get baited.
We could be getting baited, but this would be a character that we haven't seen them play yet, so we don't know if it's a comfortable character for them. Proven, though, is going back to the Mei. HKey is looking to take advantage of these large rooms that are flashpoint control points, and
we
is
are getting
going to fake us out, and they are going to go back onto that Vendetta. So HKey going back to the Vendetta, you know, and it is going to be first time of us seeing the Ramatra.
Yeah, I actually love this comp, though, from Kasa. You know, we saw how good Proven was at defensively stalling, isolating the front line as they need to, and especially good into, you know, Zarya, if you can isolate them and burst them down through the bubbles as well. So really just playing to hold these points and stall out as much as possible with this very heavy frontline control between this Brig and the Mei. As already, though, we see HKey popping off with this Vendetta Zarya combo on the flip side for Element that they felt so comfortable with as well.
Yeah, that was just a really aggressive start by Element. You know, it was a little bit of a patience game at first. You know, Kasa held outside the point, then they went in with the Juno gate. Made a very aggressive push onto the point, but then little by little, bit by bit, Element worked down their HP until multiple members of Kasa were very low, but Proven is going to eliminate HKey very quickly, you know, eliminating them being able to regroup with their team. And so that is going to be a quick numbers advantage for Kasa here. The Ramatra holding it down, hands up, blocking off any of the aggression that is coming out, and they are going to take control of the point once again.
Yeah, it was such a quick wall as well from Proven to isolate that Vendetta and get the pick. And I think this is what we're going to see from the Ram, is just going to make this front side so difficult to push through with the Mei behind them as McChicken gets Beyond with that Disruptor shot to finish it off. The Juno is putting in work, keeping everyone up. They drop the Blizzard as well to finish off Seal Noises. Already gone. HKey tries to get in on Proven, blocked off by the wall. Eventually, though, look at Firecarder in the backside. Gets two. HKey finishes off Red X as well. So actually, Firecarder coming in crazy clutch with that Wu Yang as Leo just trying to hide in the corner, but there is no way you can hide from that, I'm afraid. They do get it to 99, but maybe one more quick team fight if they want to try and get in here using that Juno ult and the Brig to try and take this point.
Yeah, the Fire Carter flanking around on the backside of the point while they had their team cornered in on that payload, dropped the tidal wave, and I just very quickly right-clicked down 2 people, and that was a quick double kill for him. But right now, we're going to see Kasa coming in very aggressively, but Beyond is going to get a double kill off of that grab well. Proven's going to take down Peruski, and HK is now quickly pursuing out. Firecard is going to get down Proven, and it is overtime on this point, but it is going to be looking like it is going to be Element's take for this first point, and it is. And so now Kasa is going to regroup and push to this next flashpoint.
Oh, the grab was so good. And Leo, I think, was definitely looking to try and use their ultimate there to contest that final point and try and get it in their favor. But the grab was so quick on the fingers that they weren't even ready. Goes down, and now it comes down to point 2, but they do have that to work with. McChicken also with the railgun. Beyond with theirs as we see the Vendetta looking for the kill. Goes on to Leo in the end. McChicken does go down to Firecutter once again. On this, Wu Yang is causing absolute chaos as Manjiro just jumps off or maybe gets sent off. But another pretty handed team fight win for Element. And they are a little bit in struggle town now. They did burn a couple of things for that as well. Leo burnt the Ram ult and it gets taken out. And Firecarter, already for me, the MVP right now of this one, finding these very awkward angles to get in on and find these picks on the backline.
And right now, you know, after burning that Ramatra ult and not, you know, swapping after the exchange, do you think we'll see them drop off of the Ramatra if this goes to the 3rd point without them getting a capture? You know, if it goes up 2-0 for them?
I think you might have to. It depends how they're feeling about it. McChicken is trying to contest this right now, but the picks are already coming out. Leo has gone down again. I think if you're going to make the change, I think you've got to make it now, to be honest. You don't have a lot of ult built up. You're not really losing much, and there we go. We see the switch immediately to the Zarya. I think you do have to try and match this. Firecutter is causing so much mayhem with H-Key. You don't know where they're coming from. And these poor, like, backside Red X and Manjiro are just getting picked off time and time again. And it's a very quick and decisive 2-0. And already on the back foot, Kasa, this is a true definition of a full send comeback. They've already got 2 maps back. Now they've got to get all 3 points on this final Flashpoint map if they want to win this series.
And this is just showing right now HK very aggressively with the Wu Yang ult on top of them, diving in, and they are going to get 2 kills on Kasa, 1 apiece for Bion, and HK Firecarter getting in with it, and that is going to be a wipeout team kill for Element. And that is going to be first possession of the Flashpoint to Element right now. And that is, you know, Kasa's got to figure out that they've got to make an adjustment to something else. I don't know if they just don't have enough offensive pressure with the current lineup to really contest back into what Element is pushing them with, but they are going to have to make an adjustment somewhere.
I think they're struggling a lot with H-Key's aggression, you know, with the Wu Yang backing them up. They're getting burst down so fast before they can really get anything off themselves. As we say that, Leo does finally get H-Key. They went a little bit too far. Proven getting another pick as well, and this is what they're going to need to get the entrance in. Red X dropping that Kyriel on the floor to let them walk it, and this is going to be the take, but already 60% down. This is going to have to be a back-to-back team fight win. And more, really. So I think this is going to come very much down to their ult economy. They have to try and win these fights with minimal usage and do it consistently time and again. So pressure is on. Manjiro, can you come up with another hero play on this Juno? You do have the ult ready. Leo, this could be a huge grab. Seal doesn't have theirs, so it's a one-sided grab if they can use it at the right time. And pressure is on as we see the Vendetta ult. Tried to wait out the Mei, but really nicely done from Proven to kind of waste that. But oh my word, it is just a wash as soon as that goes out, it's not even close in this contest, to be honest. This is all Element all day.
Yeah, unfortunately that was what I was concerned about, is the fact that they were able to prevent any sort of losses to the initial Vendetta ult, but then as a result, Bion had their ult, so that, you know, the two main DPS having both their ults ready, and Manjiro's really only able to prevent one of them or protect one of them, is not too much there, but here comes Gravity by Leo, and we're going to look to see Red X pick up a kill here on H-Key off of the Brigitte, back onto the Kiriko. Leo with the kill on Firecarder. Bion did take out Proven, so we are going to see a bit of exchange. Bion getting really low, but is being able to kept alive just a little bit longer. Seal Noises takes out McChicken. It's a bit of a back and forth. The overtime, they got to stay contesting on the point. Seal Noises
the grab
right there, and there it is, the grab well to keep them off the point.
Oh,
and that is going to be a washout for Kasa, and that is going to be a point control and match for Element, and they are going to take this series down to a game 5.
I mean, that you know, I think for Kasa, this is such a difficult spot for them to be in. You know, they went down early, and I think that really hurt them to begin with. You know, they had to put so much work back to get back into this contest, and then I don't know, it feels like they just kind of ran out of juice. You know, Element had their pick on the last map. They chose Saravasa. They clearly was super ready for it, and it just was a wash in the end. So, I mean, in terms of I don't know, in terms of FACEIT, whether they could even promote now. I think this takes them to a really difficult spot. This is kind of a must-win series for them against Element. So I think it's going to be tough for them, but keep their heads held high. It was a hell of a comeback, and they gave us some fantastic games in the middle there.
Very exciting games across the board from them. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's definitely going to feel bad. It's definitely going to sting losing that. But I think that at the very minimum, what they can take away from this is that, you know, they do have the ability to turn a match around, turn a series around, get themselves back into it. Yeah. But now they have to have enough juice to close it out. You know, they did a really great job, you know, coming down from 2-0. They had that slow start like we were worried about. But, you know, if they can just get a little more going sooner, I think it really helped when they changed up their offensive options and as well as their support options. You know, we saw them with that King's Row. Red X, the aggression, the really aggressive play styles that they showed, they seemed to do really well with. And when they ended up playing a little more defensively, it was a little bit more difficult for them. But, you know, they didn't do bad. They had a great performance. They just had a very difficult time on that last match. I think more than anything, Element made the adjustments that they needed to make, and they capitalized fully, and H-Key went on a tear on that last match.
H-Key was a monster this series. I think, you know, we should also remember, you know, that this is a new roster for Kasa. You know, there's still obviously, you know, maybe some teething problems here. But when you have a new roster against, you know, people who've been together for a while, there are certain things that you get from playing with the same people for a long time. You know, an unspoken understanding of how each other's going to play. So we should also, you know, give them credit. This is a brand new roster like 2 weeks ago, right? Where are we at? Like 3 weeks ago, over the Christmas period. So really good signs. I think certainly, I think the changes in the roster have been really good for them. They just need to solidify these early games, I think, and not put themselves on the back foot immediately. If they can start off strong, I think they're going to look really good.
I agree.
So with that being said, it was a fantastic series. We went all the way. I believe we're going to be back tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Should be tomorrow.
I believe we're back tomorrow with the next series, and let's see if they can shake it off and show us something tomorrow for the next series for Kasa Esports. So I've been Simply Nickish. Thank you for joining us. And you can find me everywhere as Simply Nickish.
I'm Zav, and we'll see you back tomorrow against NTMR Academy.
See you then, guys.